So you have half as many teams with a quarter of less long schedule, and you need to basically double the amount of subscribers they got just in order to break even. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master Football, back at it again. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things EA college football, subscribe to this channel right now. I also do some pro football, college football, and Madden videos as well. Please subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button, okay? Helps out the channel out a lot. Okay, it's free to you. All right, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It really drives engagement. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, I am sitting back here because I was thinking about something recently. So we are in the midst of, there's a lot of realignment talk, and it looks like things are starting to die down now up until the Big Ten has their official word from their contract negotiations come out closer to Labor Day weekend. With that being said, I wanted to check something out because there was an article that I found, and it came from 5 years ago, that talked about the future we are heading into, and actually talked about some of the contract negotiations that we're seeing right now 5 years ago, what that perspective was then. Let's get into that because I think that sets the stage for a really, really murky world we're heading into for college football. So here we are on Saturday down south. From 5 years ago, Ty Duffy, cable TV is dead. That's why the next round of college football realignment could look more like the NFL. Keep in mind with everything we say here, this is 5 years ago. So 2022 right now, this was 2017, right after the NBA Finals ended. So like I said, the NBA Finals ended, and it starts off right here. The article really gets going here where it says, cable is not dying, it's dead. The cable box might as well be a landline phone. The technology has made it redundant. Cable subscribers are leaving in a steady trickle. The only finger still plugging in the dike is internet infrastructure. Many rely on a cable provider for home internet service. Getting out of a long-term bundle is more the effort than it's worth. When fiber internet or something else expands capacity, the trickle of cord cutters will become a flood. That could spell trouble for college football. I've been saying this before. Again, I keep on pointing to the Big Ten, Rutgers, Maryland, UCLA. I know USC's in there too. But the additions for markets, we also see the American. The American highlighted that too. Charlotte, Miami, Georgia, Birmingham, San Antonio, and Dallas, and Houston. So you can see the fact that that was the emphasis there. They're going for potential with big markets. But what happens if those markets that are bundled into these TV packages kind of just go away because the TV packages go away? College football depends on cable. Conference networks draw cable subscriber carriage fees. ESPN and Fox pay for the rights with revenue from cable subscriber carriage fees. That huge pot of postseason money, it comes from cable subscriber carriage fees. They're basically saying there is the fact that if you buy DirecTV, a certain chunk or Dish Network, a certain chunk of your money goes towards sports packages to kind of subsidize those. So a lot of people who I don't watch sports at all, you are actually paying for the sports because they carry over because of how expensive the sports programming is. It continues on. Power 5 conferences will enjoy a windfall now. The SEC handed each program $40.4 million in 2016, and the Big Ten revenue distributions are expected to top $50 million in 2018. Just a couple of years later, they're expected to top $100 million. But those days will end. The same rights deals showering athletic directors in cash to use are a millstone for networks, especially ESPN, who will struggle to afford them. Millstone is basically just something that is absolutely a burden on you. I had to Google what a millstone was. What comes next? The focus will shift from no longer relevant cable footprint to attracting an audience. The money pot will be smaller. ESPN won't be drawing from a bottomless Scrooge McDuck vault. It will have to spend less money. Silicon Valley execs might ride in on gleaming white Teslas to replace ESPN and Fox or partner with them, talking about Apple TV Plus or Google, Amazon, so on and so forth. Google or Amazon getting into college football business could make sense. That does not mean they will preserve the present format intact. As Stuart Mandel pointed out, the future in an audience-driven sport will be about quality, not quantity. Streaming providers will want it. Schools will need it and to get fans in the stadium. Those fickle students with their smartphones showing up late, leaving early, or not showing up to games, they are the audience 10 to 20 years from now. In short, scheduling will change. Non-conference scheduling will get tougher to be more appealing. Alabama won't be able to play 3 of its 7 home games against Fresno State, Colorado State, or Mercer. Teams really reevaluate the strength of their conference as well. And he kind of points out here the fact that a big thing why you see the fact they're talking about possibly having the Power Five split off from the Group of Five is because of those situations. It says right here, we might see 4 conferences, 16 teams, dominoes will fall. The Big Ten signed a 6-year contract to come back in the market in 2023 before the other conference deals expire. It seems savvy. If the cable model changes, it might be a mistake. That makes no difference to the commissioner, Jim Delaney, who will have hightailed it with his 10 figures in bonuses. It also says here that the SEC has insulation because they're inked through 2034. The ACC also is inked that way too. However, I think that there's a lot of situations. You saw the fact that the Pac-12 network was offered $24 million for their contract, and it's because maybe they're not actually worth that much money. I mean, we'll see what happens. I know that Mac Rhodes from Baylor has been saying that they think they can get 40 to 45 from their new deal. I'm going to highlight an article I see right here because there's a lot of things you want to see about that, but we'll continue on here. Basically states that Power 5 will break away. Instead of having a bunch of poop games you don't care about, you'll have Power 5 opponents will play, Power 5 teams will play 12 Power 5 opponents. Major schools will look for more new opportunities. It says right here that the league would maximize revenue, producing the most audience-friendly games. The money would be smaller, but far fewer teams would share it. The halves could still be halves. Combining forces would give you the conferences better leverage. Instead of undercutting each other, they can create content scarcity the way the NFL does. And again, it goes through this thing here. We saw the pettiness and self-interest come out during the last round of realignment. Keep in mind, this is 2017. This is before Texas and Oklahoma and before USC and UCLA, multiple years before that. What happens when they are fighting over less? The major knock on the league scenario is it would require collective foresight from a sport that often has little of it. So that was a really, really bleak picture, but I think that it's important to recognize a couple different things that draws from that. So if you see we're going towards a streaming situation, I want to make sure we can highlight where we are currently with kind of what the cable network environment is, and then what streaming would have to be able to do in terms of numbers in order to actually pay for that effectively. Let's get into that real quick. So I said before, NFL Sunday Ticket moving to streaming service in 2023 could be worth $2.5 billion per year. That sounds incredible. However, you need to remember something about NFL Sunday Ticket from DirecTV. How many people sign up for NFL Sunday Ticket? Right here it says that but fewer than 2 million subscribers usually sign up for the package each year, making the NFL Sunday Ticket a money loser for the satellite TV provider, which no longer is interested in bidding on the full rights, according to a person familiar with the matter. So DirecTV, everybody thought, oh my God, this exclusive rights deal, it's going to be amazing for them. They actually lost money on that. But again, are you going to turn down the NFL? Probably not. It is in its benefit in the long run, despite the fact that just from direct subscribers to Sunday Ticket, they don't actually make that money back. Now for streaming services, now I know this might not be bundled in free, but you can see the fact that streaming is very, very popular. Netflix, the price is good. 214 million global paid memberships. That's absolutely nuts as of Q3 2021. I know they've lost a lot recently, but that's what they're kind of looking at from in terms of Netflix, how many people actually like that streaming option. Remember though, what is that? It's like maybe $10 a month, $120 a year. That's not necessarily relevant compared to college football. In addition to that, we also have Apple TV Plus, which is doing a pretty good job, 33 million users, but vast majority aren't paying for it, research says. You can see here from DirecTV. So at the end of Q1 2021, AT&T had 15.9 million pay TV customers, including DirecTV, Uverse, and DirecTV Stream subscriptions. So that's what you're looking at. I mean, what do you think college football's headed into? Do you think they're going to go into an environment where they're going to be an add-on on Netflix, an add-on on Amazon, an add-on Apple TV Plus? Do you think that because like I said, this number is going down, whereas those streaming services are going up. But speaking of streaming, if it actually were to go towards streaming, how many subscribers would they have to get? So this is my Excel workbook. And again, I threw this thing together, but basically what I did was I created a couple different sheets here for how much the conference payout would be per team, how much the subscription would cost for this, and then how many conference teams it would be. So I have 10 that would be relevant for the Pac-10, 12 would be for like the Big 12, 14 for the ACC, and then 16 for the SEC and the Big 10 in the future. So as an example, the Pac-10, I know there are 12 members right now, but I mean, they will be at 10 in the future. Let's just say they were offered $24 million. They were offered $24 million. If they had $200 for a season subscription, right now I'll let you know that I have the digital version of the NFL Sunday Ticket package. It's $400. So let's just say they offered it for $200. They paid out each school $25 million. They would have to get 1.25 million subscriptions to sign up for that. Remember there, NFL Sunday Ticket had less than 2 million. They have to get 1.25 just for the Pac-12 for, what is that, a 9-game conference schedule and the conference championship. So that's what the Pac-12 is kind of looking at going forward. For the Big 12, now Mac Rhodes from Baylor was talking. He thinks that they get anywhere from 40 to 45. I guess it might be closer to 35, but we're just going to use this little section right here as an example. Like I said, 400 is what the current NFL Sunday Ticket package costs for the digital version. So I'm assuming 200, maybe 300, something like that. They're going to need 1.6, 1.4, 1.8. So again, the same situation. That's where streaming, when you look at these numbers, it's not super favorable, but hey, we'll see what they want, because this right there is what the break-even point is for that perspective. So the last one here, we saw recently that it looks like the Big Ten is going to recommend, or they're going to ask for $1.5 billion per year. 16 schools, remember that's 16 schools. So if we come over here, 1.5 billion divided by 16 is roughly about 93, somewhere around there. So we're going to say 95. So if they have a $400 price point for it, they will have to have, what is that, 3.8 million households. If they have a, what is that, 350, 300, 250, $200 a month, they would have to get 7.6 million people to sign up for the Big Ten. Now remember that. I mean, think about this. This is right here. This is crazy when you think about this. So the NFL Sunday Ticket is about $400 for the online package. They got less than 2 million people to subscribe. The Big Ten at 16 teams. So 16 teams versus the NFL's got 32. So half as many teams. The season in the NFL is 17 games long, whereas the season in college football is 12, the regular season, obviously. So that's about a quarter less. So you have half as many teams with a quarter less long schedule, and you need to basically double the amount of subscribers they got just in order to break even. That is, I don't know how the math doesn't really turn out very well. So this video was just a hypothetical. Like I said, I threw that Excel sheet together. I encourage all of you to check me on all that kind of stuff. But what do you think is going to happen with this streaming thing? I really, it's not looking great for the money to just keep on going up, 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 up. I do think there is going to be a point where it starts to kind of get pushed back. You see the fact that DirecTV is dropping NFL Sunday Ticket. You see the fact that, you know, it looks like a couple of these conferences who had the exclusive negotiation windows are going to market. It looks like there might be a settling in college football, and hopefully that settling leads to less conference realignment. But again, like I said, I threw these things together. Get in the comments right now. Let me know what you guys think. Where do you think we're heading? What do you think streaming is going to do to college football? Do you think that streaming is just going to go up, 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 up? Or do you think there's going to be a level that's going to kind of, you know, push back on this rapid expansion for conference realignment? All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I appreciate it. I will see you guys tomorrow. I am out.